Fellowshippers, welcome to the Fellowship Hall with the twins and Ralph. I am Ralph, aka Big Ham, aka Nose, aka the smartest one in the room. And I'm here with my fellas, twin number one, Keith, and twin number two, Ken. Fellas, say hello to the fellowshippers.
What's up, fellowship? It's your boy Ken, aka Odd Man Out. Thanks for tuning in with us this week. Go ahead, Keith, introduce yourself.
What's up, fellowshippers? Thanks for tuning in again. I'm Keith, the moderator. You know me, I know you. Let's go ahead and get started. So I don't know if you fellowshippers know. I know you don't know actually, but the new Denzel movie came out this weekend, and the three of us don't necessarily agree on everything, although we have similar interests. But one thing we do agree on is that Denzel Washington is our favorite actor in Hollywood. And when this movie came out, we felt like that we had to watch it, and not only did we have to watch it, we had to review it for our fans and see what our opinions were together, and then hear what you guys thought about our opinions and what you want to share for yourself. So let's go ahead and kick it off with Big Ham on his reaction for the Denzel Washington movie, The Little Things.
Hey man, my reaction was I don't know what my reaction was, bro. I was up and down with the movie, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I was attentive. I was attentive. I was intrigued. I was on the edge of my seat, but then I was halfway bored. I don't know I did because me like suspense thrillers. Me as a moviegoer, I like to simply be entertained. I don't like to have to think too hard in a movie. And so in this movie, I felt like I was having to do too much thinking. I was concentrating too hard, and I was just sitting back and enjoying it. But so I'm kind of torn on like how much I enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed the movie, but then I was left disappointed because everything I wanted to know, I felt like I never found out. And we'll talk about that later. But as far as the acting in the movie, I thought Leto as Farmer, I thought he did a great job. I thought he was easily the star of the movie on the slick. I thought, what's my other guy name, the actor name?
Rami Malek.
Yeah, Malik, that played, what was his play? Tim Patrick? That was his name? I thought he did a great job too. And I've seen him in a lot of different things. And he has that look on his face that he just has a natural villain's look. So I was thinking, man, is he the killer? Because that's the way he looked.
Exactly. Exactly.
He looked like he a killer. But then, and then my favorite actor, Denzel, I was kind of disappointed in Denzel's performance, man.
Really?
I was, because Equalizer and Equalizer 2 were two movies I loved. And Denzel, to me, in this movie, Denzel was Robert McCall. I know his name was Joe Deacon, but he was Robert McCall in this movie. Only thing he would beat people up. But he was the exact same character. So I think like, I don't know if it's because he get up in age and his versatility is kind of weighted. He wasn't always terribly versatile to begin with, but I just felt like I was watching an Equalizer 2 movie, and I'm like, it's time for him to beat somebody up, and he ain't beat nobody up yet. So that's how I felt about Denzel performance. I mean, we love Denzel, but I got to tell objectively how I felt. So the movie was really suspenseful. It was a lot of stuff in there that I didn't understand, and everything didn't tie up. And there was some parts in there I was wondering, like, why is this even a part of the movie? Because it didn't come to fruition. So that bothered me. Like the girl at the beginning of the movie part. She was at the beginning of the movie. What was that for? If she came into the police office and looked at dude and was frightened, but then she couldn't identify him. So what was her whole purpose?
Right.
I don't understand it. So and then I didn't understand if we never found the girl that was jogging, who I'm sure he probably killed because he said her name. If we never found her, what was? And I know Denzel hit the bow at the end, but what was the purpose? I was just lost. And the other thing that had me terribly confused, and that's why we need to get to the what the heck happened segment. Like Mary Rogers.
Yeah.
Why did the guy kill himself? I don't understand why he killed himself when we find out that Denzel put the bullet in him.
Well,
So,
are we sure that was Mary though? Like it could have been Mary, could have been one of the other girls too.
well, based on the clippings that was in Sparma's apartment, the
Yeah.
other two girls, Sparma, I'm assuming Sparma did, and then he kept the clip because he like I only killed two, why were three there? So I don't know, like but why would that guy have that type of reaction when he mentioned her if she was the one that Denzel killed? Because we found out later on that was her name, the one that Denzel killed
Okay.
in the end. So
Okay.
I don't know, man. I'm still confused.
All right, fellas, so it look like we're not just reviewing this movie for you, we also reviewing it for Big Ham too.
Yeah, I gotta figure out what's going on, man.
All right, Ken. I guess I'll go ahead and let you put a more compass spin on it and see if you can help out Big Ham in this one.
All right, so for me, I thought it was a good movie. I like a suspense thriller a lot. But the thing about this movie that I guess left me disappointed was, say it with me, fellowshippers, closure. There was no
Right.
closure
No
in this
closure.
movie at all, and that's what bothered me. So it started out interesting enough. It was very suspenseful, which I like. I don't mind thinking like Big Ham, even though he's the smartest one in the room. He apparently doesn't. I don't mind thinking, but I need everything to be tied up at the end, and it was not tied up, and that's what bothered me the most about the movie. Don't get me wrong, I'm still a Denzel fan, but this movie, it kept me entertained and it kept me intrigued, but I think they kind of copped out at the end of the movie, and that's what bothered me. Like a couple random things in the movie that didn't make sense to me, like Big Ham kind of alluded to, was the butler guy. He was this hardened detective that was really really good, but he hadn't solved these cases, and Ralph again alluded to it, where you wonder if he was the actual killer himself. Like
Baxter.
at one scene,
Baxter, you mean
Baxter? I'm sorry. He ended up in one scene in particular, his wife wakes up in the middle of the night, like 4 a.m., goes outside. He's sitting outside just on his stoop. Like I don't know if he is contemplating. I can't help these families. I haven't solved these murders, or is he really the killer? And then he kept envisioning this girl in the swimming pool, one of the victims, and I was like, man, she looks similar to his wife. So is he going out killing women that look like his wife? I didn't get that, but that scene to me, it didn't add anything to the movie. It just made it more confusing. And then the whole thing with Sparma was I don't know. It was odd. I agree that he acted really well in the role, but I think they focused on him so much that everybody wanted him to be the killer. And personally, I don't think he was a killer. I think he was just some dude that was messing with the cops. And I guess I don't want to go too much into it, but like the way it ended, with Denzel sending Baxter the beret that the girl was supposedly wearing to basically ease his mind, thinking that she was the killer, and then they go and show Denzel throwing the package of berets that he had bought in the barrel to burn up. So to me, Sparma was not the killer. And so one thing that I thought that would have been a perfect ending for the movie was that even though Denzel didn't find the beret, sent it to Sparma. I mean not Sparma, but sent it to Baxter to ease Baxter's mind. If they had did a slow pan back to Sparma's apartment and the beret was in some corner or cabinet or some other room that Denzel didn't know, that way at least even though Denzel was trying to ease this guy's mind, instead of leaving me just saying, okay, so basically all they did was told us that the real killer's still out there and these women are in danger, they could at least say, okay, Sparma was the killer. They got it wrong, but ultimately they ended up getting it right, just by coincidence. So to me, that would have been a perfect ending for the movie, but this just me wanting my closure. And then lastly, the one thing that I want your guys' opinions on, and the fellowshippers as well, is when we finally see that Denzel ends up shooting one of the girls that wasn't with the other two, she was only in a bra and some shorts and some jean shorts. So was she a victim that was getting away, or was she just some random girl running through the park half naked? That's the only thing that didn't make sense to me. So we obviously understand it's a whole massive cover up. And I guess the captain hates Denzel because he became part of the cover up with him. But
his partner, wasn't he?
Right, he was his partner. Yeah. So, but the thing about the girl was, if she had been, was she a victim, or had she gotten away? Because if she had, been a victim that was getting away, she could have identified the true killer. Yeah, she would have been a witness. So to me, I mean, I guess we supposed to assume that she was, but then again, she had on jeans and a bra. So if this dude was some professional killer that was kill people and then take them somewhere and pose them, why wasn't she already dead? Or at least why did she have on jean shorts? That's what I didn't understand. So it was a decent movie, and it was suspenseful, but it left a lot of open questions to me that kind of hurt my value for
it. I think the thing with her, I think they alluded to that she was a prostitute. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if I say this for one of our future segments, but the fact that guy, when that her name solicited that response from the guy in the that they were interrogating, I wondered if he was out there with her in the prostitute. He had a prostitution date with her, because he had been brought in as a peeping Tom. So I don't know if that was what it was, but if he was out there, had he already left, or before she got killed, and he found out she came up dead later, that was something that I just didn't understand. But I think if he might have been out there with her and left her, and then she got killed and she showed up killed, and he might have thought he was guilty in some sort of way. But the fact that he killed himself as being interrogated, and then we come to find out later she was out there and Denzel killed her, just threw me for a loop.
Okay, so let me try. Thanks, Ken. Let me try to tie in some things and give my reaction all at the same time. So I'll try to address what you guys said. So Ken, I think Ralph just addressed what you said. She was a prostitute, so she was out there probably prostituting or something, and just while she was running, I don't know, she could have been trying to get away from somebody, but she was a prostitute, so they could explain why she was out there. As far as the guy that killed himself after the second interrogation, or whatever the interrogation that Denzel and Baxter brought him in, my assumption is that Denzel was pushing him so hard 5 years ago or whatever, Ralph. And then when they brought him back in, and Denzel was out of the picture, so he got brought in for this new girl, and then Denzel told him to mention that other girl's name. I felt like that he probably was under so much pressure from the police at that time 5 years ago, and then bringing it back up after 5 years when maybe he thought it was over, it probably was enough to kill him. So I can kind of see that aspect. I understand what you're saying. He probably didn't have anything to do with either one of them, and but that police pressure, and then him knowing that his life was probably going to go back into a similar place that it was 5 years ago, maybe was enough to just for him to end it all. So that's my assumption on your point. But as far as my reaction, I thought it was a good movie, and then it started not being such a good movie. And I hate to say it, but I found myself thinking about like a Tyler Perry movie, like Tyler Perry presents blah 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 blah. But the reason why I thought that is because the movie is titled The Little Things, but I feel like they left some stuff out. Like it should have been titled The Little Things That We Don't Tell You That You'll Be Wondering About for the rest of the time. You know what I mean? Like it was a good. I disagree with Ralph about Denzel being the guy in The Equalizer, because I think that he played a more hands-on role in The Equalizer where he could actually do stuff. And this one, he was just more so investigating. So I disagree with that. But I understand. But that's Denzel's. Denzel as Santa Claus is still like Santa Claus, but it's Denzel playing Santa Claus.
Right.
It's not Santa Claus, it's Denzel playing Santa Claus. But anyway, I thought it was a good movie. It started out kind of exciting, with the girl and stuff. I feel like some choices she made probably shouldn't have been made. Nevertheless, she was in the predicament that she was in. The movie progressed, and I feel like the writers or producers or directors or whatever wanted us to think that Jared Leto's guy, Sparma, was the killer. They were pushing him so much into our face that when it seemed like that he might not be the killer, they just offed him on screen, and then we like, okay, but where's the killer? What happened to the jogger? Like that's what when the movie ended, and I'm like sitting there at the end after the credits, like a Marvel movie, waiting for them to show something that happened in the background, and it didn't happen. Right. I was like, what happened to the jogger? So I didn't like that so much. I feel like that, like y'all said, they left a lot of things untied that should have been tied up. you know, so they send the beret to Baxter, and I think that's just no. I mean, this is probably what they wanted to think. That's just Denzel trying to ease his mind so he doesn't go down this bad rabbit hole that Denzel went down, where he had a heart attack, lost his wife, you know, had to quit his job, blah blah blah. He didn't want him to do that because this guy was similar to Denzel because he had a beautiful wife, he had 2 daughters. Denzel had a wife, 2 daughters. And Denzel lost it all. So for Denzel to go to breakfast and see this, you know, he didn't want this guy to lose it. Now, that doesn't mean that what they did was right. And, you know, it's a movie, so we had to take it as that. But Denzel was doing a good thing by trying to spare him the same fate that he had. At the same time, as a viewer, they left. So Denzel should have been sending us a beret or something, so we could be at ease, because we don't know what happened to the jogger. Personally, I don't think that Sparmer was the killer. I agree with Ken. I think that he was just picking at Denzel and then picking at Baxter. You know, without going too much farther, you know, it was some things in there that I thought they probably could have finished up or closed up, and it would have made the movie wrap up a little bit nicer for me. I like the portrayal of Denzel in this detective role. I thought he did good. I thought Malik also did good, and you know, Leto is a lovable villain, and by that I mean, like, whenever he's in a movie that I've seen, in a way, he's usually a villain, and you know, you don't like his character, but at the same time, you like, I don't like this character so much, so this guy is definitely playing a good character role for this, you know. So that's my thoughts. It left a little bit on the plate, you know. Randy Jackson said it was just all right for me, dog. It was just all right.
Listen, man, the single most unbelievable scene in the movie was when Baxter chose to get in a car with Sparmer to drive to find the body. He left a car to get into this guy's car. And to me, that made absolutely no sense.
He could have just followed him.
He could have just followed him. He could have got Denzel. He could have followed him. To me, that made no sense. And then another thing. So I'm 100% of the belief that Sparmer was not the killer. I believe the jogger is dead though. But I don't think Sparmer is the killer. But the thing is, they tried to make us hint it. They hinted it so much, like when Baxter's digging all these holes and just kind of oblivious to Sparmer just randomly walking around, getting close behind them. They keying on the gun.
Yeah,
I thought he was gonna grab the gun. At one point, Sparmer even made a hand gesture like he was shooting him, if I'm not mistaken.
He did.
With his hand. So it was like, this is so, what's going on? What's going on was the thing. So to me, when they put that scene where he got in the car with him, I just thought that was ridiculous and made no sense at all to me.
That's true.
So neither one of y'all thinks Sparmer was the killer? I do.
No,
I don't think so, man.
I think he was. I'm gonna tell you why I think he was the killer. Because it's 2 reasons. Number one, he said Rhonda's name.
Are you sure that they didn't tell?
Yeah, I remember that. He said before dude got a call, he said, "I'll take you to Rhonda."
But I think he was asking about her. Oh, he was asking him about her.
I don't remember hearing Baxter tell it. I remember Baxter tell him the name. I remember Baxter showing him the picture at interrogation. But he did say a name, and then he had all those clippings. He definitely had all the previous clipping, and he definitely stopped right there at 467.
He did do that.
And then I think he also knew, because he also knew, right? He killed those 2 girls and left them under the bridge. The clipping said there was 3 girls. And then he also knew that Denzel probably, because they said he was a crime expert, he probably knew Denzel was the previous
detective,
the previous investigator, right? And so then, did you notice that when he asked Denzel about the trunk space, he tapped the chest where the girl got shot at? He said, "How's the trunk space?" He said, "How's the trunk space?" Then he tapped his chest and left. So I think he probably knew that something happened. Because he like, I didn't kill 3. I only killed 2. So something happened that y'all pinned on me. And then he had then those beers that was in his fridge was in that fridge too. Also, he had this police scanner. He was able to call the police and report an officer being down to get Denzel out of the apartment.
That's
but
true.
like, what? Like he had all those clippings hid too, bro. He had them hid in the floor. So
Okay.
I thought he was the killer. I just thought he wasn't going to give Baxter the satisfaction of finding that girl's body.
Ken, I know you want to say something, so let me jump in. Just one point to play devil's advocate for Big Ham, because did you notice that there was also a roast beef place near where Sparmer worked? So that was the last thing that this vegetarian girl had in her system was roast beef. So I think, but again, I feel like that was just them trying to make it seem like Sparmer if you were paying attention. But anyway, Ken, go with your two things you had.
Yeah, so I think the two morphed into more, but nevertheless, first of all, he could know her name easily, Ralph, because they had posters up in the neighborhood with her name on it. Because even Baxter saw a poster of her. And then two, the whole thing about the clippings was, I think Sparmer liked messing with cops, because when Denzel and them was getting heavy on him, I think he probably got attracted to it and started collecting things to kind of get into their minds. Because I think the captain called Baxter and said that Sparmer had turned himself in for a murder.
He confessed to a murder 8 years ago.
Confessed to a murder, knew everything about it, but couldn't have possibly been the killer because he was nowhere in the vicinity of the crime. So I think Sparmer was just someone that liked to mess around and joke around with the cops, and I think that's what he was doing. He was getting his kicks off messing with Denzel and Baxter. And then lastly, though, even if he tapped his chest, there's no way he could have known that Denzel shot her in the chest, because no one knew except for the medical examiner and the detective. I mean, unless you're saying that he could have still been in the woods watching, but that would have been a opportunity for him to get caught. So I think he was just messing with the cops, collecting information. He might have did some research. He might have been dirty, but I think he was messing with the cops to get the information. So that's why I still don't believe he did it. The mile marker, I cannot explain the mile marker though.
Yeah.
Unless, wait a minute. Didn't they say they didn't give it to the public? They only told dispatch.
Over the scanner.
He would have had the scanner. So I think Sparmer was just messing around with him. I think the real killer's still out there. I think the real killer got that jogger also. So I understand your points, and they were good points, but I think that's the movie trying to make us believe it was Sparmer, but I don't think it was Sparmer.
Yeah, and I wanna say one last point to go with Ken. So we feel like this movie was trying to do everything to point us to Sparmer, but remember the car at the beginning that was chasing the girl and the car that was following the jogger was not Sparmer's car, nor was it the car that Sparmer dropped off, and they went over with a fine-tooth comb and didn't find anything. So I feel like that if they were so pushing for Sparmer, then they would at least made the cars similar or something like that. But both cars were different than his two cars that they found.
And the dude walking after the girl in the desert did not have Sparmer's goofy walk.
He did.
That's something too. But I don't know. But I definitely understand your point. But you can't convince me it was Sparmer unless they had panned to that apartment and showed their beret somewhere in the apartment that Denzel missed. Then I would have been like, okay, I'll take it. But they didn't give me that, so I can't do it.
But would that one thing have erased everything else for you?
I think so.
Okay. All right. That was an intense fellowship. How about that? That was intense fellowship that we were having, a good discussion. I think we all were invested in this movie, and then we didn't get too much of a payout. I don't know. Maybe I'm speaking for myself. But all right, fellowship, we like to have different segments where we kind of ask some questions about what we think or what person we liked or whatever. So for this movie, we're gonna do it a little differently, and we just gonna ask a couple questions to the panel, and then we of course want you guys to comment in our comment section and let us know what you think. But today's question, first question is going to come from the Moral Compass. So Moral Compass, go ahead and tell us what your first question is.
All right, fellas. So you guys know how it is when you're watching a suspenseful movie or even a horror movie. It's always aspects in the movie, multiple aspects in the movie where you're like, why is this character doing this? how would I have done it? And so the question I want to pose to the team and the viewers is called, what would you do? Okay. And the situation is the first opening scene of the movie. We had this girl, she listened to music in her car, riding down, I think it was a Mustang, if I'm not mistaken. She riding down the street, and all of a sudden somebody start riding her bumper and then pull up beside her and then shoot off in front of her, and she gets all freaked out and afraid. And then as they shoot off, so she calms down. Then she sees the same car just parked or usually stopped in the street. She passes the car, and then the car starts, and then she sees the car following her. What she decides to do was drive, which is good, and then she sees a gas station. It's maybe the middle of the night, but she sees a gas station with lights on. She decides to park and try to open one of the doors or something to bang for help or beg for help. And instead of get back in her car after the first door is locked, she decides to check every door and then hide behind the building rather than get back in the car that can move. So my question to you guys is, in that situation, what would you have done if somebody is chasing you down a dark road in the middle of the night and you're in your car? Keith, you go first.
Oh, okay, I'll go first. Keep driving. This might be the shortest segment ever. All you have to do is keep driving. Listen, she was driving clearly towards a city. She wasn't driving away from the city. She was driving towards the city. She stops at a gas station, leaves the car, keys in the car, and takes off to running. So more comments. I would clearly keep driving. That's all you got to do. In your car with the doors locked. Keep driving. Gee, this movie.
Hey, man. What I would have done, my foot would have been through the floor when that gas fell off.
You would have went Fred Flintstone.
That job would have been through the floor, man. The speedometer would have went around twice, flew around me. And then, if he hadn't kept up and tried to cut me off, I was just gonna try to run him off the road. I would not have stopped. He would have had to show me he had some horses under that thing he was riding. I'm in a Mustang too. I'm like one of Dale Earnhardt kids or something on that thing, man. It's a NASCAR race flew around me. my pedal to the metal until the gas ran out.
I don't know what you was thinking.
A supremely lighted place. Now there's no gas station in the middle of the night, out in the middle of nowhere. Could have been me.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys gave the right answers, obviously. But so I was thinking about a couple of things, like what I would have done. So first, if I'm driving down the street and somebody on my bumper or whatever, and then they finally get beside me, and if they continue to drive beside me, I'm gonna take my foot off the gas. Make them match my speed instead of keeping my constant pace. He just driving along with. So okay, I take my foot off the gas. All right, so everything else happened. I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt. She sees lights at a gas station. The car is still, some yards behind her. She pulls over. Once that first door would have been locked, I would have got back in my car.
Back in the car.
and kept on going. It was as simple as that. Keep on driving. I mean, this movie, I expect this movie to be one of those, it's not some B grade or C grade horror movie where people make stupid decisions. I'm like, okay, Denzel in this, the Malik dude in this, Jared Leto in this. This movie is going to be Oscar worthy. Yeah. That scene was not Oscar worthy, man.
Not at all.
And not at all. And I don't get that at all. I don't understand why she got out of a car, left the door open, left the keys in it. And so that bothered me. And I took some notes on the movie to make sure I remembered it. And I don't even have to read my notes. Let me see what my notes said for this one. Once the first door was locked, get back in your car with 3 exclamation marks. That's what I have. That's what I have written down, guys. I'm dead serious. So I don't understand why that scene should not have been part of the movie, because I'm not.
And to add further insult to injury, They brought her to the police station to serve no purpose. She
Right.
dug down and tied that shoe and stall dude and act like she saw a ghost and still could identify him. It just irritated me terribly.
So I'm not victim bashing here. I don't want anyone to think that, but I'm just saying there was no reason for the girl to get out of the car. And once she did, once that first door was locked, get back in your car and keep going. Now check this out, guys. If they had flashed the gas light on her car, okay, she got to stop.
Yeah.
So in my mind, she got a full tank. She should just kept going. That's the way I look at it, man. That's the way I look at it. Yeah, so you're right, Keith. It was gonna be a short one, but man, it was something I felt needed to be voiced because it was so unnecessary. Served no purpose at all, man.
Yeah, man.
I would agree. All right, Big Ham, you got the next question for the panel and the fellowshippers.
All right, so we've already kind of been going back and forth with this, and my question to the fellas and to the fellowshippers is, what the heck happened? You know, Kid already told you that there was no closure. You can see right now we differ on whether Sparmer was the killer or not. So we're going to try to go through this again. What the heck happened? What do you believe happened? What the heck happened?
All right, let me try it first. All right. So clearly there was some killer in the movie, right? We all can establish that. They wanted us to think that it was Sparmer. I don't think it was. They wanted us to say, if not Sparmer, then could it be Denzel or could it be Malik? I don't think it was them either. I think it was a suspenseful movie just for the suspense. You know, it was a big build up, and then it was, here you go. So that's what happened, Ralph. They made Malik make some stupid decisions. The stupidest one is getting in the car. They made Leto take whatever he was doing a little bit too far. And maybe, you know, him end up getting hit with the shovel and killing him, which, you know, is a shovel gonna kill you? I mean, I know it can, but will it in that situation? I don't know.
Like he's about 125 pounds, man.
So get wet. The shovel weighed more. The shovel made way more than him. But you know, it was still crazy for him to get in the car, and then for him to hit him, you know, I could see the frustration. But to kill him, you know, I thought that was like, okay, let's go ahead and end this now. Let's kill him and be done with it. And they never found out. Like, I know this is what the heck happened, but why not let them, like Ken said, find the Barrette in his house, which they didn't do, which I believe he wasn't the killer. But why not let them find a real killer and then let Malik be upset at the end of the movie because he killed an innocent person or something like that? So
at least let us know.
At least let us know. What the heck happened was this jogger, this lady that was acting as a jogger, is forever known as, we don't know what happened to you. So she jogged away, and you know what? Why didn't dude run with her home? Should have. Why didn't she let the dude run with her home? Like, come on, man. What were they thinking about? So what the heck happened, Ralph? This movie irritated me. That's what happened.
Kid, what the heck happened, bro?
I think what the heck happened was, I think Warner Brothers decided to make a movie that was so intelligent that you know, it was going to be all inspiring to the viewers and it was just going to blow people away, and they failed miserably. The movie was good, it was okay to watch, but at the end they wanted to be so intelligent, you know, so Hasidity or whatever you want to say, where they say it's going to be a thinking man's movie, but it wasn't. All they did was put a whole movie where they focused on somebody that wasn't the killer. And in my mind, I'm like, all these women are still in danger because they didn't get the right man. So basically, we wasted what, 90 minutes or however long the movie was.
It was like 2 hours plus.
Was it 2? Okay, watching a movie,
every bit of 2 hours.
Watching a movie that got us no closer to the killer. All we did was found out about a huge police cover-up that turned into a second police cover-up, and we got no closer to finding this killer. And that's the thing. And Keith brought up the jogger. The thing was, it's on the news that these women are being killed, So it should have been automatic for the dude to run the lady to her house, or at least for her to want to go to her house. And so I don't know. I think it was a decent movie. I think they got ahead of themselves and they tried to make it more than it was, thinking it was going to be some artsy film where people had to think and people weren't going to get mad. But I'm mad because I didn't get the closure that I wanted. You know, I invested the time in the movie and I didn't get the closure that I needed. So that's what happened for me. I was upset after it ended.
All right, so both of y'all think Sparman wasn't the killer, and I'm still of the ilk that he was because of number one, when Denzel ended up going to the right appliance company because the lady told him the wrong one.
True.
At that appliance company, he went through the thing, he was like, didn't match. Then he went to that one and he found that it matched. And then what I noticed was that while Denzel was in there questioning the owner, Sparman was actually listening.
Yeah.
So then when Denzel looked, he turned his seat around and then he looked back and saw Denzel again. So Sparman was actually listening. Then I thought the way the chase with Denzel and Sparman happened kind of reminded me of how the guy in the beginning was in front of the little girl who ran out of the car for no reason. Remember how he came on a bumper, then he went and got in front of her and stopped, and then she went around. That's kind of the same thing that Sparman did when him and Denzel was going back and forth. Similar. And then I just don't understand why. I know they say he was a crime guy, but why would he have all those clippings? And that, we didn't see him go to the library and pull them up everything. True. These were actual physical newspaper clippings.
That's a good point.
So, if y'all say he was just researching to find them, did he go to the library and find all this stuff? When did he do it? Because they had been staking him out since they got on to him. So I'm trying to figure out, I think that was too much coincidental and too much physical evidence. I think he probably was the guy.
Really?
The roast beef was the last thing the girl ate. And we saw that he pulled over and gave one of the prostitutes a meal from the drive-through that he picked up. So it was like, I think he was. I just think he just outsmarted them. The only thing that I can be 10 toes down with how y'all feel is that the cars that we assumed killed these people was not a car that was matched to him. But
and the limp. And the what? And the limp.
Yeah, and the limp. Also, when Denzel went and cleared that apartment out, when he went and cleared the apartment out, we saw when he opened up that box, there was no clippings there. So I'm wondering, what did that mean? Because the clippings were there when Denzel got him again in the apartment. But you saw when he opened up the box at his house, he burned everything up, and he already burned the clippings. Where were the clippings? The clippings weren't in the box again.
I think Denzel was going to keep the box. I think he had already threw the clippings out. Because remember, he left the box in his bed or the trunk of his vehicle, and then he went back and threw it away. So I think he was just going to keep the box. I think he probably already dumped everything.
So my thing was, why would he keep the box if that guy wasn't the killer?
I don't know.
Yeah. To use it?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But him buying the beret for Baxter's conscience.
Yeah, that was just simply for Baxter.
Exactly.
It was simply for Baxter, but I think Sparman was not the killer. That's the way I'm looking at it.
Yeah, I think that was the sign that he wasn't too.
Yeah.
So
my opinion.
So this segment, what the heck happened? At the end, we still can't agree on what the heck happened.
No.
Yeah. I hope we can agree.
We can agree that we didn't get closure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a few noteworthy things before we get to the last bit of it. It was good to see Franklin's mom in the movie, and also the lady that runs the club, all from Snowfall. So that was good.
The Snowfall reunion.
Hey, so what was there to move for? Like, why did Denzel go sue his ex-wife for? What was the purpose of that?
Closure, maybe.
No idea. Didn't add anything to the story.
It didn't add anything to the movie.
It did. Okay.
We already knew he had an ex-wife and 2 daughters. That only thing he added, he didn't talk to his daughters.
Yeah, settle down, fellas. I think that was again more so of the Malik angle, where the Baxter angle, where he was seeing the pain or the suffering that he caused his wife and himself, and that was more of him wanting to prevent that from happening to Baxter, I think. So that kind of went over with me, is that little aspect of Denzel trying to, maybe be a mentor and then also prevent him from going down the same road as him. So that's where I can see that coming in.
It's a stretch.
It's a stretch, but I think it works. When Denzel went to dinner with the medical examiner or the coroner, whichever she is, for some reason, when she said, "I keep this reminder," I was like, it's like a bullet to me. So I was like, what happened? So that was kind of thought-provoking, we just, and thankfully we at least got to find out that part,
That's true.
They didn't leave us hanging with that. So they did tie up some things, but the little things that get you caught, that should have been some of the things they tied up also. But it was good. So I know we up against it, but I want to ask one more question that's kind of like not a segment, but just a question. What do you think about the police covering up for each other in this movie? Now, we're just talking about this movie, but what do you think about the police covering up for themselves in the movie? Would you have done it, is my question. Would you have covered up for your partner? And then as the person that got covered up in the past, would you have covered up for this new guy? Big Ham, you go first.
That's a tough question, man. I think that's something that police do all the time. They cover up for each other. When they mess up all the time. They have each other's back. And then once they stick their foot in all that dirt, they get nervous about it. Because you can see when Denzel came back, the captain just want him to leave. Because he bringing all that baggage back with him. Man, why are you here? We can go back. So.
Hey, wait a minute. I'm glad you mentioned that. Sorry to interrupt, but when I was first watching it, I thought that they were holding the evidence so he could stay and investigate. So when they first did it, I was like, are they trying to keep Denzel longer so he can investigate? But, it started going in different directions. But that was my initial thought, was he was supposed to get the boots. It was supposed to be a quick pickup and done. And then she wouldn't let him get them. And then he started seeing about the case. So at first I was like, maybe they set this up for him to stay and investigate. But then, it kind of seemed like they wanted to get rid of him early too. So it was just something that I picked up on, and then it seemed like it went away. But
they wanted to get rid of him, but he ended up taking the vacation days. And then that lets you know, like, I don't know. It just felt like the girl was just giving him a hard time. It seemed like everybody in the apartment just gave people a hard time, just like the dude with the computer with the thumbprint guy. He's just giving Baxter a hard time for no reason, man.
Yeah. What would you do with the cover up for your partner?
If I wasn't the guy that took the bullet, he on his own, man. He on his own. If I ain't do the shooting, he on his own. And think about it, man. He could have let it know it was an accidental killing and not suffer any punishment at all. He the police. Everybody was on his side. When no DA tried to convict him or nothing, he'd have been fine. We see it every day. They killing unarmed innocent people every day, and they ain't kissing the charge. He would have been fine. Me, I don't think I could have went with him. If I ain't pulled the trigger, I could have went with it now. If I ain't pulled the trigger, I would need everybody that could. Everybody that's in it. I need y'all to help me out. Get me out of this.
Ladies and gentlemen, the definition of a hypocrite. Okay. Yes. Okay.
Absolutely. It is what it is.
All right, more Compass. What do you think?
I think the answer to the first question, ethically, it's going to be hard for me to go along with it, especially if it resulted in someone dying, because they got a family. And it's you've taken a life, so it'd be hard for me to go along with it, because it's just from an ethical standpoint, man. When you take these oaths and things like that, whether a doctor or someone in law enforcement, you're supposed to try to protect people, and you're supposed to prosecute the guilty. And even if that guilty happens to be on your team, you gotta look at that. So it'd be heavy and ethically, you know, it'd be tough to go against it.
Now, however, if you the trigger man.
However, if I'm the trigger man, and I like to say I would want to turn myself in, but like if they like, no, you can't, you know, we got to do this and that, I probably got to ride with them. But finally, what you mentioned was if someone had made a cover up for me, and then the shoe was on the other foot for me to help somebody else, I think I probably feel that it's old, and I got to try to help them too, because someone did it for me. And I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying somebody did it for me. I got to try to, I was in that person's shoes. Somebody helped me out. I probably got to try to help them out.
Yeah, I hear that. I think both of you are basically right. You know, it's human nature to try to, save yourself.
Self-preservation,
self-preservation, and then potentially save somebody that's close to you. So I guess I can't add much to that. You know, at one point I was like, well, Denzel's lady was innocent, and Baxter's guy was guilty, but I don't think he was guilty. Now, just because this guy was a pain in your butt didn't mean that he deserved to die. Now, maybe he deserved that shovel across his head, but you know, you hated that he died from it, you know, because he was being a jerk. You know, maybe a punch, not the shovel, but you know, when you digging and you angry, I can kind of see it. But I don't know. I don't know if Denzel would have really found him out in that desert either, honestly. But you know, this segment is passed, but whatever. Yeah. All right, fellas, so we appreciate you tuning in today. But before we go, we gotta and maybe we gave some of this away in the in our reaction and our questions, but we gotta rate the movie. You know, we wanna close with a rating for the movie. And like our title, the Fellowship, you know, we grew up in a small church in the country, so we would have our rally days is what we call them, you know, whatever day at the church where other churches came, or you know, we had some kind of meal at the end of service. You know, we had a fellowship hall. So, you know, if you grew up in a church, especially a Black church, you probably had some kind of plate, and more than likely you had a lot of stuff on that plate. But one thing that was for sure on that plate was a piece of chicken. Now, I don't know what chicken it was, you know. I don't know if it was fried or grilled or whatever. It was Black church, probably fried. But it's chicken.
It was fried, brother. It was fried.
It's fried. So for our ratings, since we're in the fellowship hall and you dining with us, then we're going to give our ratings as far as chicken plates. So, Rob, I'm going to let you go first with your rating for the movie.
All right, so our ratings go from 0 chicken plates to you'll starve ready to watch this movie again, to 5 chicken plates, the best movie we ever seen. Yeah. And my rating for this, I'm going to give this movie 3 chicken plates. And It would have been lower. The only reason I'm giving it 3, which is above halfway, is because I actually went back and rewind and watch segments to try to figure out what was going on, to try to piece the puzzle together. So the fact that I was intrigued enough to do that and wanted to do that lets me know that this movie hit a spot, entertained me enough for me to want to do that. So I'm going to give it 3 chicken plates. It's missing those last 2 chicken plates because it didn't give me any closure. And I still don't feel like I'm confident in knowing what the heck happened. So 3 chicken plates for me.
Okay, cool. Okay. More Compass, you want to give us your rating?
Yeah, so I don't want chicken. I like catfish. Don't do fish plates. And for me, I know I bashed it, you know, as far as not giving me closure, which I still stand by. But it was a suspenseful movie, and it did keep me into it up until the end when I didn't get that closure. So for me, I'm going to give it 3.5 fish plates. That last plate don't have any sides. I'm gonna go 3.5 fish plates.
No coleslaw. No coleslaw. No spaghetti on that last plate.
No potato salad. Just 3.5, because even though it was a Denzel movie, had Denzel not been in the movie, I think the acting was still enough to keep me involved. But you know, full disclosure, it probably got a little bit of a higher rating because Denzel was in it. But yeah, 3.5 fish plates for me. Man out. Gotta go with fish.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna keep it traditional, and we're gonna stick with chicken. You know, we had a lot of gripes with this movie, and they really didn't get settled. I don't wanna give like the same rating that Big Ham gave. So I'm gonna give it a 2.5 chicken plates. So yeah, so clearly, if you're watching this, you know, hopefully you already watched the movie, so you got your own rating. So, you know, watch the movie and rate it for yourself. But I gotta give it 2.5 chicken plates, man. And I wanted to like this movie, and it entertained me to a degree, you know, but it made me question a lot of things that were going on. And like Ken said, when Baxter got in the car with that guy, thinking that he was the killer, but still getting in the car with him, I was like, come on, man, what are you doing? Right. It was a lot of that, man. I wanted to like the movie. I'm glad I did see the movie. So, you know, I got my entertainment, I guess, but I still gotta give it 2.5 chicken plates. You know, maybe 2.75, but I'm just gonna stick with 2.5 chicken plates, man.
All right, man. So those are our ratings. So let us know in the comments how many plates you give the movie. Also, let us know what you think happened. I mean, because we still don't fully agree on what the heck happened. So we would appreciate if you kind of threw your 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 cents in and let us know. But we thank y'all for coming into the Fellaship Hall with the Twins and Ralph. We hope you all continue to check us out. We got more shows to review. I'm just waiting on Snowfall, baby. I hope y'all wait too. But once again, thank you for coming to the Fellowship Hall with Twins and Ralph. We'll see you later. Be blessed.
Be blessed, Fellowship.